Welcome back, folks. I'm Frizz, and today I'd like to take some time to talk about Disarming in Pathfinder 2e. Throughout all of 2e's lifespan, Disarm has kinda sucked, and it's come up a fair amount in discussion online. You might think that I or other people are exaggerating when I say that the Disarm action sucks, since 2e is generally well balanced. But Disarming is honestly one of the spots where I think that Paizo has historically dropped the ball in 2e. For the sake of comparison, let's talk about the other athletics maneuvers because that's the easiest and most direct comparison. Tripping, grappling, and shoving are all better than disarming under basically every situation. As a bit of a generalization, a successful roll on any of the other maneuvers in the right situation messes with your enemy and eats up one of their actions. If you trip someone, they're probably going to have to use an action to stand up, and if you shove away someone who wants to be next to you, then they have to spend that action to get back within reach. In comparison, a success on a disarm attempt gives the enemy a -2 penalty on their attack rolls, and everyone else a +2 bonus on checks to disarm them until the start of their next turn. This ends up meaning that the only way to really benefit based on succeeding on that athletics check is if you or someone else tries to disarm them again, meaning that you get a +2 bonus, or if the person that you're fighting has a reaction to attack off of their turn. That's it. That's the only way or situation in which disarm really matters. When compared to the other athletics maneuvers, disarming really just sucks. Yeah, I mean, if you critically succeed, then you actually disarm them. But aiming to critically succeed just isn't a particularly good game plan. Of course, I think that there's a reason why Paizo decided to lean on the side of caution when it comes to disarming, even if I think that they leaned a little bit too far. If you actually disarm someone of their weapon fully, it can completely trivialize the fight. Like, just pick up their weapon and throw it off a cliff or put it into your bag of holding. For a lot of creatures in the game, if they lose their main weapon, they don't really have a great fallback option. If getting a success on your roll completely disarms someone of their weapon, then disarming would be the go-to strategy against literally anything that holds a weapon, which would also include PCs. People would just be stealing your weapons all the time. I'm pretty glad that playing keep away with people's weapons isn't the most effective way to play because, I mean, while running around with a hill giant's club is pretty funny the first time, it's not funny like the 5th combat in a row. And that leads us to the remaster for 2e. At Jin Gone, Paizo showed off a screenshot from Player Core 1 that shows all of the basic athletics actions. And interestingly, disarm wasn't there. While the initial reaction could be to assume that Paizo is just removing disarm as an action entirely, I think that that's highly unlikely. Stealing weapons from people is pretty iconic in every type of media where people have weapons, and not having an option to let people do that would be a shame and honestly a shock for me. Instead, my theory is that disarm is now going to be a skill feat rather than an action that everyone trained in athletics can take. Despite this making disarming a bit more exclusive, I think that this is a really good direction to take. Disarming is already a bit distinct from other athletics maneuvers considering how effective it is if you really do what you're trying to do, and making it so you have to spend a skill feat to opt into it and get that degree of power would allow for Paizo to put more power into disarming. I actually have a specific prediction regarding what this potential new disarm skill feat is gonna be like, or might be like. Literally, it's just that it's gonna be the Disarming Flare Swashbuckler feat. Disarming Flare is a level 1 Swashbuckler feat that's already out that makes the bonuses and penalties applied by succeeding on the disarm attempt last until the end of your next turn, or until the target uses an interact action to remove them. This means that those penalties are going to last for at least one enemy turn, which puts it about on par with other athletics maneuvers. I'm not sure exactly what Swashbucklers would get in exchange if one of their level 1 class feats is turned into probably a level 1 skill feat, but I think that it's a feat that is around the same level of power as a lot of other level 1 skill feats. And honestly, yeah, this is probably one of the safest bets that I have regarding the remaster. Thanks for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing if this prediction actually comes true. Well, what are your thoughts about Disarm potentially becoming a skill feat, or any other ideas for what it might turn into, or any other potential feats to make Disarm a more interesting fighting style? Let me know in a comment down below, and while you're down there, you can always consider subscribing or joining up as a member. My members are truly generous, and they really help me motivate to keep on doing this. Every little bit really, truly does help. Regardless, until I see you next, live a wonderful life.